DC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, it's a walking home vlog. So we're Thursday and the weather definitely looks like it's going to change. So I was thinking maybe I won't be able to vlog tomorrow. I was thinking maybe of vlogging tomorrow, but we might be in the rain tomorrow over lunch, and it doesn't make it quite so simple. Anyway, I hope you're all well. I was thinking about one thing about vlogging. Today was a radio show or a podcast. It was a bit like the question went in this direction. A bit like you can tell who you are by who you hang around with. Well, you know, with the different books that I'm reading lately, so the famous hillbilly elegy, which I won't get into too much, but I was thinking about, there is a bit of that. You know, you are very often influenced by who you hang around with, or who you like to hang around with. And having said that, the question maybe is, who do you hang around with most of the time? And I was thinking about, well, who do I hang around with most of the time? Well, actually me. I know this sounds a little bit strange and close to weird, but it isn't actually. We spend most of our times with ourselves. In a way, we talk to ourselves. We discuss things with ourselves, and so basically that does come out to saying that if you get along or have a good feeling of yourself and how you go about things, you will probably, get along well with yourself, so to say. Yeah, people with their dogs walking here. Bonjour. Bonjour. So anyway, but then if I push that a little bit further, so who do you hang around with? I mean, if you think about your children, for a certain number of years you hang around with them, but I would say that's looking the other way around. Up to a point is when you hang around with them, how do you rub off on them? And then, you know something, when they start getting to be adults, and I was going to say bringing out their own thoughts and so on, all of a sudden you really are hanging around with them, because you're not always teaching, you're actually being taught very often. Yeah, I mean, the whole relationship in a family is something that goes both ways. It really does. I mean, we are not always the teacher and caregivers. As you know, after a while we become even students and the people being cared for. Who else do I hang around with that make me who I am? Well, it's funny how, of course, I mean, your spouse. That I was going to say, if you're married or with someone, goes without saying. at least in a healthy marriage. And of course, the person over the years that you become is definitely transformed in part, I would say, by the positive interactions. Could be also transformed by the negative ones as well. But there's this whole saying, you can't change someone, the person will have to change from their own. It's true. I was going to say it's true in part, but if a person is open to change, then it will probably happen. Then what else? Well, you guys. Yeah, I'm thinking about myself now. I mean, like, people will talk sometimes about, what are you watching on television? I barely watch television. That's the big difference between, let's say, Mrs. DC and myself. She likes television a lot, likes to watch movies and goes to Netflix and so on. And yeah, I mean, she does like the screen. And so do I love the screen of all sizes. But I'm online. So basically my viewing is YouTube, essentially. And what is YouTube? YouTube is, at least in my part, is made up of people, you know. And the real people that I view, they're the ones that I hang out with. And I know that it's hanging out, I was going to say with comments in between. Yes, no, I mean, there's a hanging out. Also, like not too long ago, I was hanging out with Feckwick. We had an actual Skype session, all close to 2 hours. Who else do I hang out with on, I was going to say YouTube, but it comes from YouTube. Well, I mean, with Tweetness, we chat regularly. And if I put that a little bit further with Skype, I hang around with my mom regularly. But now that gets back to the parent relationship that I talked about a bit before. So, but I mean, if we look about the online relationships that we've had, I mean, some people will say, well, we hang around with Facebook. You know something? You're right, but I would say certainly up to, for me at least, it's certainly definitely less. When we were hanging out with a lot of people on YouTube, I was hanging out with them and having fun and bantering, so to say, in many type of ways. Physically, I mean, in the sense of our videos and chatting and so on. But with Facebook, it's less. For me, it's less. I mean, the whole fact of writing, I mean, you can pull out like what I've said right now in the few minutes that I've been vlogging. It would have probably taken me quite a long time to put it down on paper and make it into nice sentences, cohesive and so on. So in that respect, I mean, would say I've lost, or certainly a lot of friendships, I would say, they haven't gone down the drain, because I mean, we're still friends or contacts with the people, but it's definitely not the same. A lot of people have also disappeared when they got off. I mean, that's the same, I mean, with real life. I mean, let's say you change your job, well, you will, you know, you have like where I was, my previous job, I had really good contacts with a lot of people, and you know how often you say, well, we'll keep in touch. You rarely do, actually. You rarely do. And the job that I have now, the people are nice, but it's not as close-knit, at least, you know, on a friendly basis. When we were students, we'd hang around a lot together. I mean, especially when I was in my PhD period in the lab, I was going to say we were doing like 16, 18-hour days, you know. We would work together, play together, drink together, and so on. And very, very, very close-knit. And that is something that really, you know, stayed for a while. And like everything else, you know, it kind of wears off. But that is something that you see that when you're a student, it's a very big thing. When you go into a work environment, I think that most of us, when the weekend come, we don't really want to go and hang out with our work colleagues, at least not very often. That is a big difference, isn't it? Well, okay, so who do you hang out with? How has it changed over your life? You know, think about that. I mean, give me some comments. For me, it's kind of an interesting subject. You know, how did things evolve? And I look and I mean, even, you know, they evolve continuously, but a lot has evolved. I mean, I didn't go into talking about my church family and so on. You know, there's so many ways that you can look at that. So just tell me what you think about all this. Okay, that'll be DC signing off. Everybody take care and have a nice Thursday going towards that weekend. Bye-bye.